We've just come out of a fairly cold winter for South Australia, so I needed a heater. I figured I'd have to buy one. They have a thing called Hard Rubbish Day. People put stuff out of their houses that they don't want. Hard rubbish is usually big stuff that won't fit in the trash can. The council comes along and picks it up. Trash can. Well, this time, somebody had set up a working electric clothes dryer. And I picked it up because it's got good copper and, scrap things. Selling for scrap. Worth a couple of bucks anyway. But when I was tearing it apart, I figured that might have some use. Got the heating elements inside that silver box. The motor, which used to drive the drum as well, but in this case it just drives the fan. The motor doesn't start itself, so it needs a capacitor or something to start it. I'll figure that out at some point. But it does work. The motor started itself this time. Turning heating element on. And in a few seconds, I've got a nice hot air blown out of there. So I figure now I've tested it, it works really well. What I'm going to do then is mount it to some wheels that I've got from one of those child buggies. And I reckon I can use these wheels and mount it to that motor, come up with a framework to support the heating elements, rewire it, and I've got a working space heater for basically nothing. To mount this front wheel, the pivots. It's got a brake on it, or at least it won't, so it won't pivot. And I'll put that here somehow. But it needs a round bit of stock. Let's see what I got. Run this across, screw it here. There's a hole already there. Down to here in a couple of places that don't interfere with that fan. Hope it's strong enough. If not, I'll have to beef it up later. And onto this piece here, some more scrap. That can go there. This piece can just screw in there. I just cut a bit of that out so it goes around this part. That's better. And I had to cut a little slot out of that. Now it fits here all right. This is the heating coil. Didn't really need to be as tall as it was, so I'm just going to make this a bit shorter. Well, now that's looking better. I have to tidy these cords up yet. There's a starter winding, get the motor going, and then
once up to a certain speed, it clicks over to the run windings. And when it does that, it also makes other contacts. It turns on the heating elements. So I'll get that worked out. But I had to put a brace here because the fan up underneath, this wasn't strong enough to support it, the front wheel and all. So I put this brace, which turned into a handle. And that actually worked pretty good. I don't know that this camera is good enough to focus on this, but that's the motor. Terminals are numbered 1 through 6. This is a connection diagram. This one here is the schematic, shows how what the wires actually do. That's the motor there in the middle. But I didn't know, looking at this plug, if they were actually numbered. They're not numbered on the top. Happily, they are numbered behind. So it's 1, 5, 3, 4, 6, 2. So I just got to connect those wires up like that. And theoretically, it should start and run. I think I have a working space heater. So I'll turn on the switch, start switch. It's ugly, but it works. Nice little space heater. $30, and that was for the switch here, 15 amp switch, and this power cord that I had to buy new because it's heavy duty and I didn't have anything like it. Plugged it into a 15 amp power point. Still have to make a shield for these exposed wires, and this plugs down here. The hard part on figuring out the wiring, 6 pins, but pin number 3 was never called out, and I had to find out by trial and error that that was a start circuit. This black wire is the start winding. And the yellow wire is for run, the brown wire is going to a thermal sensor and then to neutral. And going through a junction box. This is the door switch. Came off the door for it. And I'm using that for the start switch. Turn it on, start. Nice little handle, pull it around with. Nice and warm.